about DeepWeb. Okay, so we talk about hacking forums. Now, what is DeepWeb? So DeepWeb, and it is a pretty cool picture, not from my ownership, but I found it in internet, in Google Images, which really exemplifies what it is DeepWeb. So DeepWeb is basically, if you see at the tip of the picture, is what we all know, right? You turn on your computer, you go to YouTube, you go to all those different places, but you can see how small it is, right? But after that, it's like the sea. It's like actually the sea. You can see how big is after that. That whole thing is the deep web. In other words, internet, as we know it, is not that big as is not the places that we know. You know, it is really, really, really probably 500 times bigger of what we know. And that specific place is called deep web. That places is where porn, child pornography, or drug selling, or hitmans are really doing business. But it's very interesting to know that it is, by the way, where FBI agents are also there. So if you turn to be dealing with deep web sites, again, there might be an FBI agent searching and interacting with you. So stay in the secure side, not doing malicious activities. Okay. So let's talk about a little bit more about the deep web. It's also known as invisible web or hidden web, and the thing is that it cannot be indexed by standard search engines. Normally, Google, Yahoo, Bing, those search engines, they are able to find different websites because they can index. They can go to your website, wherever it is, and crawl it. In other words, find the different directories, pages, and put it into the database so that next time that someone asks for bags related to China and your website is selling those things, they already grab that information from your website, put it in the database, and then they can show your website. From a legitimate purpose, that's awesome, because you might be offering your products in internet and you want everyone to know about it, right? But from the malicious side, if you are selling drugs, for example, or trying to hire a hitman, you don't want to be exposed. And those guys, what they do is they use different techniques. Some of them pretty simple to avoid being indexed by the search engines. For example, the robots.txt. Robots.txt is just a simple TXT file that you put in your website saying you cannot access this or this or this specific domain, these different specific directories inside my web page. Obviously, you can bypass that, right? You can say, I don't care, and just go and grab it. But there are many other techniques, right? You can, for example, the malicious guys, they can detect web crawlers, which is exactly what Google and those guys does, detect the crawler that is trying to access information from my website and just deny it. Pretty easy. Or you can also get limited access. You need to provide a credential in order to get access to the specific web. Or you need to fill out a specific form with specific details with some captchas that doesn't allow you to be going into the next step. In other words, after the captcha or the form, no one knows what it is unless you do it manually, which web crawlers cannot do, and therefore they cannot index or identify those different pages and put it into their database so that they can be searchable next time. Okay, so that's the reason it's called hidden web. Okay, as I said, might be 500 times bigger than the normal surface web. Surface web is what we call the web that we all know. Okay, you can also access it via Tor network. Tor, it is a network which is called Onion network, which is basically used for anonymous browsing. It was a project to do that, which is not that anonymous nowadays. It's well known that the government team up with some researchers, to try to break it, and to, it's always for the best option to cut criminals. But anyways, Tor network can also be used to get access to the deep web. Okay, so what you can find in the deep web, I already mentioned different examples. As I said, underground hacking forums, but these are real hacking forums, right? Not the forums like elhacker.net, which I'm not saying anything wrong about them. I'm just saying it's not a real forum for criminals. It's just guys talking about security techniques, but not in malicious way. These guys are real criminals, okay? So you can find real hacking forums there. But as I said, you need to gain your ticket into those forums. Credit debit card dumps, of course, everyone who is, stealing credit cards, they go and sell the dumps. Dumps means all different credit card numbers per, Visa, MasterCard, and per country. Those are being sold there. Child pornography, that's why FBI is there, and that's why it's good to have them, to trace these guys. Hitman hiring services. Can you imagine hiring a hitman? It's really scary, right? No one is going to say, hey, I can kill everyone, just give me a phone call. Obviously, it's something that must be hidden, and that's the reason. Okay? Drugs online for sale, it's very common also. So it's kind of, the criminal, the dark web. It's also called the dark web because of this reason. Okay? An FBI agent, of course, as I said, is always around it. Much more information you can find there. Okay, so here is just a picture of Skill Road. Skill Road was well known as a black market where mainly they were selling drugs, and it was took down some years ago. But as expected, they just created a new website, and something particular to these websites in the deep web are this extension Onion. As you remember, when you go to a specific website, can be .com, .net, .org, but when you are searching the deep web with a Tor browser, they will use to access these Onion domain names, which is well known in the deep web. Okay.